Welcome back to the Wine Crush. I'm Laura Lawson. Well, right now we're going to have a little help as our show trends on its way. We get to talk with Brooks Painter. He is Director of Winemaking at the Sattui Winery and truly a man with great experience. He has been a winemaker at Stag's Leap Wine Cellars. He's been with Robert Mondavi Winery and certainly many more that he himself can name. Brooks, welcome to the Wine Crush.
Laura, pleasure to be with you.
It is so nice to have you joining us on this wonderful day. How are things out in California today?
Well, a little wet and soggy today, but which is just fine because we need the rain. But Happy New Year to you and everyone on the radio.
Well, Happy New Year to you as well. Well, of course, Sattui is one of the best-known wineries in the sense of it's very user-friendly. It has some of the great picnicking. But tell our listeners a little bit about Sattui, if you would.
Well, I like to say it's all about the wine here at Sattui. We farm almost 250 acres of estate vineyards from Napa Valley all the way up into Mendocino, Anderson Valley, and we put a lot of effort and care into our grape growing, and we're hoping that shows in the quality of our wines.
Well, I can definitely speak for the fact that the wines I have had from you I love, but I think one of the most interesting undertakings you make is y'all make so many different wines. How many different wines do you make?
Well, we're approaching 50, so every year we maybe drop one and add two more. So it seems like we keep on adding more and more. We have a full range of wines for people to enjoy here. It's just like walking into a wine shop. Literally, you have a full selection. You kind of compare and contrast the wines and choose the ones that fit your palate and your pocketbook.
Now, I've got to ask, we've had a lot of different winemakers on the show, and some of them have been very focused. They only make a Cabernet, or they only make Chardonnays. How, as Director of Winemaking, do you manage to stay in touch with 50 different wines?
Well, it's kind of an interesting question. When I first started getting interested in winemaking back in, it was a long time ago, 30 years ago, and my vision of what a winemaker did was he made a little of this, a little of that, many different wines. And so I've kind of realized my dream here at Sattui. We make everything from light fruity whites like some really elegant white Rieslings. We make a dry Semillon, Chardonnay, several different rosés from dry to a sweeter style rosé, some really elegant Cabernet Sauvignon. We have 8 single vineyard Zinfandels, Syrah from Napa Valley. The list just goes on, even some sparkling and fortified wines. And so I've kind of realized my own personal dream here. I'm able to keep my fingers in every single type of wine that you can make on the planet.
Of course, it's always fun, and I hate it when people ask me this question. Of course, my title is the Chardonnay Sipping Diva. I have a varietal I love, but obviously I drink everything I can get my hands on. In a situation like yours, what makes you up and decide, well, I'm not making a Sauvignon Blanc this year, I think I'll go find some? Is it because you find great fruit or because you find a demand for it or you just get a whim?
Well, first of all, we try to make the best wine we can. Of course, we try to keep our fingers on the pulse of the consumer preferences, and since we sell all of our wine direct, which, by the way, you can't find our wine in restaurants or any retail outlets. Everything is sold only here at the winery. We have such a number of people and good traffic here that we have a good opportunity to kind of see what's happening on the desire side of the consumers. And so they come in, they taste our wines with us, they tell us what they like, and we are kind of able to pick and choose our own vineyards as well as grower vineyards and go out and seek the best fruit we can. When we're choosing to make a little bit less of one wine or a little bit more of another wine, for example, Sauvignon Blanc has been very popular of late, and so we've expanded our Sauvignon Blanc program. We're one of the few wineries that makes Semillon, so we're able to do a lot of things that many of the wineries and winemakers, my colleagues, their hands are tied a little bit. We have a lot of freedom to make the wines that we think are going to be really nice expressions of Napa Valley fruit and Napa Valley character and have our consumers enjoy them.
Well, that does make sense. Question for you. You've been doing this, I think, since 2005. Have you seen any definitive changes in the last 5 years? And 2005 was something hot that's not hot now. What do you see as people migrating to?
Well, I think people are looking for something different, something unique. Wine consumers like to be challenged. They like to try something new, something different, something perhaps with a different flavor profile than they've had before. it's somewhat cyclical. So, for example, we've been making white Riesling for a number of years, but people are really coming back to that grape and really enjoying the white Rieslings that we make. We also are making a great Syrah. Our single vineyard Zinfandels are very unique. Each one comes from Old Vine location here in the North Coast, and so it gives us the opportunity to really expand our horizons and make something that might be very unique.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the white Rieslings. Obviously, there are certain people that come into your winery, they're set on what they're going to get, and it's, people want to try the Rieslings. But I see that as a national trend. I see Rieslings really come back in the forefront and people drinking them more often. Do you think that's the reason because Rieslings tend to be less expensive or because they're lower in alcohol, or people are just going back to sweet a little bit?
Well, I think all three reasons are exactly right. People are tending to look for a little bit lighter style wines. People are trying to eat perhaps a little bit lighter, more flavorful dishes. In some cases, a little spicy food, and that the Riesling goes great with that. And the Chardonnay, being the Chardonnay diva, you're starting to see some changes in Chardonnay out there as well. For example, perhaps some unoaked Chardonnay or some Chardonnay that's non-malolactic, something's a little fruitier style. So we're trying to, I think, as an industry, and certainly here at Sattui Winery, we're trying to provide people with a lot of choices, a lot of things that they can compare and contrast in terms of the flavors and matching with food.
See, I think that's a great idea. I think too often, whether you're traveling in wine country or whether you're just trying to compare and contrast, like I would say I drink Chardonnay, I'd walk into a tasting room, just try a Chardonnay. I think what you're offering the general public when they come up to see your winery and see what you have to offer, they can find a new favorite, they can find a new love, and I wish more people would do that.
Well, we certainly can offer a lot of varying tastes, a lot of different price points, a lot of different wines. And not only that, with our Italian marketplace here, we have just some fabulous food. You can go in and buy a bottle of wine, grab a few blocks of cheese and maybe some prosciutto di Parma, nice loaf of fresh French bread, and go out and sit at our picnic tables and enjoy a really nice wine country afternoon. That's
a great way to spend the afternoon. Well, Brooks, we're getting close to the end of this, but I've got to put you on the spot. Out of your 50 wines that you make, what's your favorite?
Well, I've been really having a lot of fun lately with the Zinfandels, making 8 single vineyard Zinfandels. Each vineyard is very unique, and not only that, when I'm out traveling in the vineyard itself, and especially during the harvest time, going through down the rows of vines, and each individual vine is so unique. These are 70, 80, in some cases almost 100-year-old vines.
Well, that's what we like to see. Anytime a vine can step up and speak its mind. Well, Brooks, thank you very much for being part of the Wine Crush. For our listeners, of course, the link to Sattui will be on our website, but you can find all about Brooks Wine at Sattui, Sattui.com. Brooks, thanks again, and hopefully we'll have you back on the show, and we can talk about some new and exciting trends in a few months.
Very good. Thank you very much, and come and see us.
Count on it.